Hello and welcome to another SpeedPaint video. Thanks for stopping by my quaint little channel. Happy February everybody. I hope your month is going well so far. This SpeedPaint here features my newest original character. Her name is Fran and she is going to be replacing Fletcher, who is another OC of mine, in the Call of Cthulhu campaign that I'm playing in. She is basically going to give me a little break from Fletcher for a couple sessions. I still enjoy playing him, but I just feel like he needs a little time off, and it would be in his character right about now to sort of drop off the face of the map. So it was kind of like the perfect opportunity to make a new character. This character actually goes by a couple different names. Like I said before, her real name is Fran, short for Francine, but she is actually a black market mercenary who operates under the codename Crucifix. And it's a fitting codename because it also kind of ties into the way that she likes to disguise herself as a nun. So yeah, her alias is Sister Edith, the nun, operating secretly as Crucifix, the black market mercenary, with the real name Fran. So yeah, there's a lot to remember there. I knew very early on that I wanted to make kind of a evil nun character, although she's not really like a nun anymore. That was sort of the basic for me creating this character, and I just thought it would be interesting to have this character kind of taking advantage of how innocent nuns can look, and then on the side getting away with like crimes and such. When this character was introduced, I kind of wanted her identity to be a secret, so when she met the party, she was already wearing her nun disguise. And it only took about 30 minutes for the party to figure it out, though. She was kind of introduced in a rather awkward situation, which I think made her seem suspicious kind of like right off the bat. So when she entered into the campaign, she met the party at a hotel, and an NPC that they were traveling with immediately took her picture and ran a background check. So right away he found her criminal record and alerted the party to her true identity. So now the party is afraid of her, even though she hasn't done anything threatening or aggressive. Well, I guess her stats are pretty scary too. One of the other players asked if he would win in a fight against her, and the DM was just like, no, you wouldn't. Real quick, I would just like to share my design process. So here is her final character design sheet. There's really just enough information here for me to be able to draw her again and again without missing any details. Now, if I were to make this character sheet more professional, I'd probably include some more expressions. I'd probably include, close-ups of certain details. But since it's just for me and my eyes, I just kind of went with the bare minimum. Before I got to this final product, I went through a lot of different stages while I was coming up with the design, focused mostly on shapes at first before adding more and more detail. And the purpose of sketching multiple designs is that it kind of allowed me to narrow down what I did and did not want for this character. An example being that I didn't know originally if I wanted her to have long hair or short hair, but after drawing it a couple times, I was like, I enjoy the shape of the long hair. It kind of resembles that of an actual nun hood, which I thought was a good design choice. So the piece that I'm working on here is actually going to be used as her character token, which if you do not play tabletop games, that is basically the art that will be used to represent the character's location during the game. Character tokens are kind of small, so I knew I had to include a lot of information in a small amount of area. So I went with a bust shot, and I also knew that I wanted to include her hair, so it's kind of like an over-the-shoulder pose. And I definitely wanted to do something kind of painterly. I've been practicing a lot more for lineless art for a while now, but I feel like this is the first like painterly thing that I've successfully completed. I stayed away from cell shading for the majority of this piece and stuck with like blending and using the eyedropper tool, which is very new for me and very different from my usual technique. At the beginning, I used a lot of soft gradients, almost kind of giving it this like airbrushed appeal. The goal was to focus on basic information, the shadows, the shapes, get all of that down and gradually build up the face. So then after I had enough shapes and I was confident that the darks were dark enough, that's kind of when I went in and added the highlights for the character. And then after that, I kind of went over all of the gradients with an eyedropper tool and a solid brush and tried to turn these like soft gradients into solid shapes. I think that it turned out really well, and the solid shapes kind of gave it this sort of brush strokey texture. I overall feel very proud about how this piece turned out. I feel that it is very successful. I mean, there's enough information there that you can tell what her face structure is, and that is about as much as an artist can really hope for. I personally really like how the hair turned out, especially the little smaller strands of hair that kind of add a lot more volume as they wrap within her braid. I don't know how I did that, and I don't know if I can do it again, but I think it looks good here. Whatever I did, I'm glad that I did it. And I'm also kind of impressed with the amount of time that I spent on this piece overall. If I had attempted this piece last year while I was still learning how to paint digitally, it probably would have taken me 6 to 7 hours to complete. However, I actually knocked this out in a little bit over 3 hours, which I don't know if I'd be able to do that again, but it's just something about this portrait, it all just kind of fell together really nicely and really quickly. So yeah, I think this piece was definitely a success. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And with that out of the way, that is all that I have for this SpeedPaint video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.